everyone, welcome to the video series of the subject Object-Oriented Programming using Java. Myself Hemali Shah, I am working as an assistant professor in NJ Institute of Engineering and Technology. In this video lecture, I am going to cover the topic state modeling. Now this topic is a part of unit number 9, state modeling and interaction modeling. Now we have already done inside the UML class modeling. This class modeling you can represent by using the class diagram that we have already done. Now another diagram, UML diagram, is state diagrams, and this state diagram is a part of state modeling. So first of all, what is the state modeling? So whenever you are designing your system using object-oriented concept, you must have the classes. And when you design the system, you have to create the object of the classes. Now all the objects must have some states, and your objects moves from one state to another state. This movement of states of one object that you can represent by using the state diagram, and this state diagram is a representation of the state modeling. So the state model actually represents the response of the system for sequence of operations that you performs on a class object. It represents object's behavior, its condition, and the transaction of the system object states. Right? Now, whenever you are going to design a model, state model, that basically represented by multiple state diagram. Now, how many number of state diagram you will create for a single system? So, as per the definition, you should create the state diagram same as number of classes available in your system and having some behavior, temporal behavior, and it is important for your application. So you have to find out such a classes having some temporal behavior, and you should draw the class diagram for each such a objects, and this all the diagrams together represent your state model, right? So what is a state diagram? So state diagram basically graphical representation of object state, events, and the transaction, or we can say the movements from the states, right? And a state diagram basically a graph having the nodes are the states and whose directed arcs are the transaction between the states. These states are basically some behavior of some objects. Now the state diagram relates the events and state together. This event represents the external stimulus, and state represents the value, or we can say the attribute, or we can say the data field value of the objects, right? Now the state diagram is a basically dynamic diagram where this class diagram is a static diagram. Here your whole diagram behaves based on the events occurs on your object. That's why it is a dynamic diagram. Now we can draw the state diagrams for each object involved in the system, and an object may have the several states of its lifetime, and when a message arrives on that particular object, it is called as an event, and it undergoes to certain operations, or we can say the actions, or change its own states, and you can represent by using this state diagram. A state diagram shows how the object will react to the travel of the events, right? And what are the general structure of this state diagram? What will be the look of this state diagram? So see here, this is the look of the state diagram. Here in this is the general look of the state diagram. First is this filled black circle indicates the initial state. The states of the object that you can represent by using the rectangles, and you have to mention the state name, rounded rectangles, and you have to mention the state name inside this rounded rectangle. The transaction that represent the movement of your object state from one state to another state, that you can represent by using the arrows. Now over the arrow you have to write some condition, or you should write some actions that will be performed on particular object. Now because of that event or action, your actually object state changed in your system. Now you can represent your multiple states by combining in a single state with, that is called as a composition of state, and it can also called as a nested state, right? Now the final state that you can represent by using this two circles, filled circle, and you have to draw the outer circle outside of the filled circle. So this is called the final state. So this is the general view of some state diagram. Now let's understand the notations that we should use when we are going to draw our state diagram of our system. So here are the three basic components that you have to find inside your system. First is a state, second is a transaction, and third is the events that you have to find out for the particular object in your system, right? Now, so what is the state? How you can find the state? The state is basically a condition or situation of an object during the life of an object in your system execution. Now this object remains in one state for the finite time only, and the notation to represent this state that I have already told you, rounded rectangle box represents the state like this. This is the notation of a state diagram. Now this example that we have already done inside the thread 5-state diagram, the new, ready, running, waiting, blocked, finished, terminate, these all are the state that we have already learned inside the thread life cycle diagram. So this is the example of states, right? Now this start state, or we can say the initial state, you can represent by using the symbol filled rectangle, filled circle, and the final state, or we can say the end state, that you can represent by using this filled circle and non-filled circle outside of this filled circle, right? So this is the symbol of final state. Now what is the transaction? So transaction basically a direct change from one state to another state of one object. A transaction occurs when its event occurs unless an option guard condition cause the event to be ignored, right? Now a guard condition, what is a guard condition? So it is basically Boolean expression that we are going to write on the arrow of a transaction, and this expression must be true in order for the transaction to occur. When transaction occurs, your object moves from one state to another state based on the condition that you have written inside this guard condition. And the choice of the next states depends on the both of the source state as well as the event received. Now let's move forward for the transaction. More about the transaction. What is the notation to represent the transaction in this state diagram? The notation is basically labeled arrow, that indicating the transaction of your object from one state to another state. So this is the symbol. This arrow indicates the symbol of this transaction, and you have to write this message over the arrow. Now what is the meaning of this event, guard condition and action on this arrow? So here this event is a message that is sent. This guard condition that I have already told you, Boolean expression of the attribute values that allows the state transaction only if this condition becomes true. And the action is basically a behavior that occurs when state transaction occurs. So here you have to write your action in a rectangle braces, and you have to write your guard condition in the rectangle braces, and the event message you can write on the arrow directly. Here the guard condition and action both are the optional whenever you are designing your state diagram for single object, right? Now, what is the event? So, this event is basically significant occurrence of something on the object. Say for the example, if you are changing some color of some object, so this is called the event. Now, the state transaction performs based on the event only. And this event corresponds to verb in the past tense or onset of some condition. So you just need to write some verb on the arrow that actually represents the event. Say for the example, color changed. Changed is a verb, change is a verb, and we are converting into past tense. Such a keyword we will use to represent this event, right? Now, what are the types of event that might be possible when you are designing the state diagram? So first, the event type is signal. Signal is basically one-way transaction of information that actually passes from one object state to another object state. This mouse button pushed, mouse released, right key placed, window opened, window closed. This all can be a signal kind of event whenever you are making some GUI application, right? Now the signal can be represented by such a symbol. You just need to create a one class and you have to write the signal keyword in less than and greater than sign. And you have to write the attributes that is required to represent this event. So this is the symbol to represent the signal event in your state diagram. Now second type of event is possible is change event. The change event is an event that goes by the satisfying some boolean expression. Say for the example on the transaction arrow, if you have written age greater than 10. So if this particular expression basically the expression that you have written inside this condition that basically use and it is represent the change event in your state diagram. Now what is the time event? The third type event is time event. The time event is an event that caused by the occurrence of an absolute time or escape of some time interval. So here the example of such a time event is if you have written like this, after 10 seconds your fan should be moved from on to off. So this condition, this event basically represents as a time event. If you have written like this, date same as birth date, when, right? So this condition basically represents a time event in your system state diagram, right? Now let's move for the example, the stack mechanism. The stack you all are knowing where this is a basically collection on which you can perform the push and pop operation. You can perform the push operation only and only if stack is not full. You can perform the pop operation if at least one item exists in your stack. This all the things you are knowing. Now can you build this state diagram for this stack mechanism? It is called the stack machine diagram. See here, this is the stack machine diagram. So first of all you have to draw this initial state by putting this filled circle. You have to draw this initial state by putting this two circle, inner circle you have to fill, right, with black color. Then the state you can find out to represent this stack machine. The states can be empty, that represents your stack is totally empty. Now when you fill some items in your stack, the new state will become like the loaded stack. The loaded stack, that means no, it is not empty and it is not full. The intermediate state that you can represent like a loaded, at least one item is presented in your stack. Now the next state you can find as a full, as a state name. When your stack becomes full, this full can be a state name, right? Now when you are going to perform the pop operation on the empty state, transaction you can make as a state in your diagram, and when your stack becomes full, and if you are performing the push operation, so it can be represented by this full stack exception. Such, by identifying the states for the stack machine, you can represent your states of this stack like this, and you can provide the transaction between all the states. You just need to call the push function, and you have to check the guard condition that you are using whenever you are making the functions in a stack mechanism, push, pop. What condition you are going to check whenever you are calling this push function, whenever you are calling the pop function. Such a guard condition you should put in these arrows, and you can show the transaction between all the states like this. Now we have already done the this thread state diagram. We have already gone through it. So this thread 5-state diagram actually an example of state diagram. So this thing we have already done, right? We have already identified the state of this thread object, this new object. Then you can represent your initial state by this filled circle, then ready state, running state, finished state. Now whenever we have done this thread state diagram, we have represented 3 waiting states. Now the nested state mechanism that you can put inside this 5-state thread diagram, this 3 waiting state actually represent the represented by single common state. Then you can tell the name as a blocked state. So here in this diagram, this blocked is a nested state that actually includes more than one state inside it, right? So such a nested state diagram you can also draw for any system. Now what are the advantages to draw such a state diagram of a system? So whenever you are drawing such a state diagram, it basically used to model how the state of an object changes in its life of a object, right? Now the state diagram are also good to describe how the behavior of your object of a system and how the state is changed across the several use case execution. The use case that we will cover in the next interaction model unit, and in this particular functions are represented by the use case. So when you execute the use case, what will be the behavior of your object that actually you can represent inside this state model. So these two are the advantage of the state model. That's why we are representing our system as a state model, right? So here I am going to end this session now. Thank you for watching it. Thank you all of you.